Hello and welcome to Chuck's Diecast Car and Model Reviews. Today we're looking at the Ferrari 458 Speciale. This model is made by Maisto and of course is in the 1/18 scale like pretty much most of my cars. This is actually a pretty good model for the $15 or $16 I paid for it over at Sam's Club. So we'll get on to the review here once we talk about the car itself. Of course, the 458 Speciale is a special version of the standard Ferrari 458. It has an additional 30 horsepower over the stock V8 of the 458, bringing it to almost 600 horsepower. Has a top speed of over 200 miles an hour, which is amazing for considering this car came out in I believe 2009, and just think about how 20 years ago 200 miles an hour was restricted to the highest of the high end of super ultra cars, and this is a production car, so that is pretty amazing, honestly. The difference also in this car between the standard 458 is it has this venting in the hood here for I guess the front radiator. It has a slightly different front bumper, as well as a slightly larger rear spoiler, and I think that this little doodad here along the side for aerodynamics is additional on top of the standard 458. Now, the 458 is a car that I do like the car, but in all honesty, I would probably prefer a 430 or a 360, just in terms of styling. I like the styling of the 430 and the 360 better, simply due to the fact that I don't like these headlights as much as I do on the other two cars. That being said, this of course does have more power than both of those cars, but as a result it has more performance, but I would still be one to prefer a 430. But let's go ahead and take a look at the model itself here, okay? Detail here on the wheels is very nice, as you can see. The paint is pretty decent. It's fairly flat but not great. It's a car that looks good from 2 or 3 feet away. The wheels do look good with the prancing horse badge on the center looks good. Notice that the rotors, which do have a good ceramic appearance to them like the standard car does, looks good, and also the calipers have the Ferrari badge on there too, which is nice to see as well. You can see here that there is a Ferrari badge on the front fender. That is a decal and not an actual badge, as well as the badge on the front here. I like how Ferrari has the prancing horse badge right here, and then they just decide to stick another one down here as well. The mesh here is just textured plastic. It does not go all the way through. The detail on the headlights is okay, not great. But then again, hey, I never liked those headlights anyway, right? Well, when you take a look at the back here, you can see that the detail here at the rear is pretty decent. The taillights look all right. Again, this is textured plastic and not mesh. The dual exhaust is not as detailed as it should be, but looks okay. And you can see, of course, the strakes and the carbon fiber texture here for the lower portion of the extractor for the underbody aerodynamics there. By the way, I guess I should have shown you the front trunk here. Detail in there is pretty decent too, and so good for Maisto on their part for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the business part of the car itself, which is, of course, the flat crank V8 engine with 600 horsepower. Very well detailed here by Maisto. The carbon fiber texture looks really good. The detail on the the intake trunks there, and the badging on the valve covers looks really good. I'm very happy with that. I mean, with modern engines, you don't see too much of the engine itself, much less so even with McLarens, which you can't see at all. So, I think they did a really good representation of the engine here in this particular model. Looking at the interior of the car, again, good detail. You can see good detail on the steering wheel, the dashboard. I like the yellow center gauge there. You can see the paddle shift, and of course on the steering wheel the representation of the buttons and switches for the Manatino controls on the steering wheel. Detail on the seats is pretty good there too. You can see a seat belt, and it's just kind of behind the seats, which actually is kind of good because it hides the sin of the cheesy looking plastic seat belt, so not too bad there. And of course, if you look at it from the other side, you will see 458 Speciale badging there on the dash, and detail, on the rest of it, again, is pretty good. Let's see if there's anything to see on the bottom. Not really, as with most, modern supercars. It's all flat for aerodynamics, but they do include a few small details, which is nice to see there as well. Okay, well, I guess that would be it for my review of the Ferrari 458 Speciale. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Have a great day.